Anytime you go out to eat in Harrisonburg, you may have a bit of sticker shock once you get this bill, because the truth of the matter is in Harrisonburg, you're going to be paying a total of 11.5% in taxes. That's bad news for drivers, also bad news for pedestrians. Let me show you why. Take a look at where the sidewalk should be. You may think you're doing your part by taking it to the garbage. Unfortunately, though, this just isn't good enough. Commonwealth Attorney Marsha Garth says she is satisfied with that outcome because she says had it not been for Randolph's cooperation, the triggerman, Randy Sanchez Jr., would not have been brought to justice. This is the 11-page report. It details everything you can think of surrounding that midair crash between a medical helicopter and a single-engine plane. Take a look in the cabinet and you'll see that there is plenty of food to eat. But what you may not know is that what you see there, 60% of it is coming from the food bank.
And I'm wearing my purple a little bit better than Mel today.
You know, we're practically twins, except you're a guy, you have a lot less hair, I have a lot more color, and your eyes are blue. Other than that, practically twins.
We're twins.
If you were to try to think of where you'd pay the most taxes, you might think of a big city like New York or San Francisco. As Melanie Lofton found out, you'd be wrong. Mel?
Well, John, everyone knows you must pay the tax man, but what you may not know is how much you're paying him compared to other cities. So I did a little research and found out that here in the Valley, we may be paying more than anyone else in the country when it comes to taxes on dining out. It's a story you'll see only on 3. The Shenandoah Valley, home of beautiful mountains, rich Civil War history, and some of the highest tax rates in the country when it comes to eating out.
That's pretty crazy.
That's how most people responded when we showed them this, the Tax Foundation rankings of the 50 biggest cities and the taxes you pay when you go out to eat. It combines state sales tax plus the city's meals tax. Minneapolis tops the list at 10.775%. Anytime you go out to eat in Harrisonburg, you may have a bit of sticker shock once you get this bill, because the truth of the matter is in Harrisonburg, you're going to be paying a total of 11.5% in taxes. That not only makes it the highest in the state, but possibly the highest in the country.
I would say that's a problem.
Restaurant owner Aaron Ludwig says he has to explain it to visitors all the time.
They're used to, 4 or 5% wherever they live, so when they see it here, yeah, there's a lot of people that just kind of blows their mind that they see it's that high.
Stanton and Waynesboro aren't far behind. In those cities, you'll be paying a combined 11% in taxes for dinner, and that's more than what you'll pay in Chicago, Washington, D.C., even Los Angeles and New York.
No, I think it should be lower.
Even though it sounds bad, Stanton Mayor Lacey King says there are reasons this is better than alternatives.
It is reasonable, and one reason is because it is a user tax. The 6% meals tax is a user tax, and people that don't eat out don't pay that.
King says another benefit is that it's a tax shared with visitors. Someone visiting the Frontier Culture Museum won't use the schools and usually don't need police protection, but they help pay for it when they pay the meals tax. And John, something else Mayor King noted when I talked to him about this story, the combined sales tax and meals tax is amongst the highest in the country. But he mentioned that in some of those bigger cities like New York, for example, the lodging tax there is significantly higher than what's here.
So depending on everything, it may end up balancing out.
May end up balancing out, and in those places, the total tax all around probably significantly higher, but still interesting to note, that a cup of coffee at Starbucks, for example, will cost you more here in Harrisonburg than it would in New York City.
All right, interesting looking at the numbers.
Melanie Lofton picks up the story tonight. She is live in Harrisonburg. Good evening, Mel.
Good evening, Karen and Val. Lamar Randolph will call a state prison cell home for the next 22 and a half years. He actually was sentenced to 70 years behind bars, but 47 and a half years of that was suspended. Commonwealth Attorney Marsha Garth says she is satisfied with that outcome because she says had it not been for Randolph's cooperation, the triggerman, Randy Sanchez Jr., would not have been brought to justice. Now, Janet Bonilla was shot and killed last September outside of her Harris Gardens apartment building. The 25-year-old woman was a mother of 3. She also was pregnant with twins when she died. In court today, Randolph apologized for the crime and asked for forgiveness. The judge told Randolph that he is to have no contact with the Bonilla family. The judge also sentenced Randolph to 10 years probation upon his release. The second man, Ray Aaron, also appeared in court today. His murder charge is pending. Commonwealth Attorney Marsha Garth says she added 5 new felony charges to his case. Aaron is due back in court on October 13th. Now, the judge asked Randolph if he had anything to say before he was sentenced, and he said, quote, "I should have opened my mouth and not let fear get in the way." Reporting live in Harrisonburg, I'm Melanie Lofton, WHSV News 3.
Lots of support is also coming in for the victim's family as well. As Melanie Lofton shows us, these people who loved Ben Gressel are showing their support in a unique way.
John, for the family of a victim, going through the murder trial is sometimes just as difficult as when they first learned of their loved one's death. But Ben's family will have something that not only may help them get through that part, it will probably help them cope with this tragedy for years to come.
Hi, I'm Kevin Rinker.
Friends.
Known Ben since middle school.
Taking the time to remember a young man gone too soon.
It was just natural. It was just fun. And
Several young people are taking their happy memories of Ben
he was the funniest person you could ever meet.
and putting them in a video memorial for Ben's mom. The project is the idea of Sarah Cruey. She went to the prom with Ben. The news of his death shocked her.
I just remember my heart just dropped, and it felt like I got kicked in the stomach, and I just prayed and prayed and prayed that it wasn't true.
But it was true. Ben Gressel, the 19-year-old described as caring, loving, and always smiling, was dead. A harsh reality these young people hope to make better for Ben's family, leaving them with all the good things they remember.
It was nice knowing I had a friend.
Jordan Buchanan says Ben was like a brother. He says Ben's mother may find comfort knowing Ben was always thinking about her.
Mom, what about Mom? Mom's gonna kill me, and I just died laughing because I know every choice he made wasn't for you.
For Sarah, this is all about letting Ben's mom know his friends will always be thinking about him.
If there's one thing that I want you to know, it's that Ben was loved so much, and he's never going to be forgotten.
This project was a last-minute idea, but it caught on so quickly and got so much response that it's going to take longer than they expected to finish it and get it to Ben's family. It's something Mel Anderson will probably never forget.
I really didn't know until the gentleman actually pulled the gun and pointed it at me.
His pharmacy became the latest victim of a robbery. The man with the gun didn't want money. He wanted hydromorphone and oxycodone.
It's terrifying. It's because you don't know what that person, what's going through that person's mind.
It's a feeling thousands have felt, and there likely will be more as the number of prescription drug-related crimes explodes in the U.S.
We've had over 70 indictments alone in circuit court dealing with prescription drugs in the last several months. That's from December to present, and that is an amazing amount.
Commonwealth Attorney Marsha Garth says the charges range from simple possession to robberies and burglaries. It's keeping Mark Campbell and the Rush Drug Task Force busy trying to find ways to stop the problem. His biggest challenge is us.
The biggest public perception is because it's prescription medication, it's not a big deal.
Garst agrees.
You may not think these drugs are the same as methamphetamine or cocaine. They are, and they will get the hooks into you and ruin your life.
While public perception is one issue, how we handle them can also be a problem. Say you have a prescription drug you don't use anymore. You may think you're doing your part by taking it to the garbage. Unfortunately, though, this just isn't good enough.
You would be surprised how many people that are involved in this culture will go through the garbage looking for that very exact thing.
Ultimately, when a problem gets this big, this fast, it takes a lot to reverse it. Education is the first step, and Garst and Campbell hope dealers know that selling these pills could land them here for 40 years, and that may be just one way to win this new war on drugs.